Restoring a French chateau roof like this one cost a small fortune, but in this video the owner is going to reveal the exact price of this project and how they managed to secure an incredible 90% in grants. I am Olivier, founder of Chateau, and I help international buyers to find, purchase and manage their dream castles in France. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to learn more about my services. In this video, you will understand exactly how they did it. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Château de la Varenne. You are in Hérenville dans la Meuse, halfway between Rennes and Nancy. It is first and foremost a family home. We live here pleasantly. And in 2021, I realized that the roof was showing signs of weakness. I started to see tiles moving. The roof is very steep. We have more and more wind gusts, and some water ingress occurred in the loft space. I told the Historical Monument Service, who told me to do a diagnostic study before any work. There hadn't been a diagnostic study for a long time. I don't think one was ever this complete. And the diagnostic study, which lasted a year, yielded two conclusions. The initial conclusion stated that the primary roofing surface required a complete replacement. The turrets, the four bartizans, and especially dismantling one of the turrets that was detaching from the main body, which had water leaks, which cracked the stones, etc., which was in bad shape. We knew that, but didn't think it was this bad. So we embarked on a year of work. A considerable budget awarded to 3 regional businesses, stonemasons, roofers, and carpenters, who were genuine artisans, who labored for 1 year. The entire cost came to precisely €592,000. Being classified as a historical monument, the state guaranteed me a 50% grant. And the region, since we were doing investment work in a rural area and in a village of fewer than 2,000 inhabitants, 30% more subsidy. So I received 80% subsidy on the total amount. And I had applied for patronage from French Heritage Society through the Mérimée Foundation 3 years ago, which gave me $10,000. Owners must always remember there are subsidies. You have to go get them. It's work, a lot of work. You must stay informed. And the best way to stay informed is obviously the Demeure Historiques magazine, but also the regional meetings where we talk about very concrete things about the work, about financing, about patronage, about heating, about, well, that's it. It's really very concrete. It's very down to earth. We are among ourselves, certainly, but we support each other morally because we all have the same problems. And one thing is sure, one cannot manage a historical monument haphazardly. A historic monument demands professional stewardship. It is increasingly restrictive in terms of technical aspects, standards, etc., and you need to get help. And I am an ardent admirer of what is being done at La Demeure Historique because it is excessively professional. It is just, there are never any mistakes, there is never any false information, and we need to be terribly guided because otherwise we cannot succeed. Thus my role as an owner and as an inheritor, which is slightly odd since I am not truly the heir. It was my husband who inherited this house following 6 generations of ownership. He unfortunately died a little over 30 years ago now, but I've been looking after the house for over 30 years, and when I took over this house with his agreement, I did so for my daughters who were 8 and 10 years old when their father died and who are deeply devoted to this property. I wished to provide them with the chance to preserve it. That is why the opportunity to keep it, this role of a steward, necessitates the constant upkeep and ceaseless monitoring of these properties, not acting like we didn't see, because unfortunately you can fail to see. The roofs are very high. You can avoid looking at them. And that is very complicated and very hard. It's tough, but it's in our role and our duty to keep these houses well. And if we can't keep them anymore, unfortunately, we have to sell them.
So you see, it's an interesting case with 90% grants on a €592,000 restoration work. What you need to know is that it's really rare to reach this kind of percentage. Because first, to receive 50% grants from the DRAC, Direction Régionale des Affaires Culturelles, the Chateau needs to be listed MH, Monument Historique, which is the highest level of classification. If you want, and tell me in the comment, I can make a video to explain the differences between MH, ISMH, inscrit à l'inventaire supplémentaire des monuments historiques, and non-classified, non-listed. So I can explain exactly what you can do and cannot do and can receive or not receive depending on the situation of the chateau. But this is the first thing to know. Second thing to know about this, it depends on the region because they receive, each region each year receive a global budget for the restoration of historical monument listed. But each region will receive, I say a number like this, 5 million euros for 1 year for this region. After, it will depend on the project currently on this region. For example, if you receive 5 million in Lorraine, east of France, where this castle is located, there will be only 3 or 4 big chantiers. So it's possible to receive up to 50% of your work. But if you are in region Loire and there is only 5 million and there is hundreds of castles making work, restoration work, you understand that your piece of the cake will be smaller if you make a restoration in this region. And it's possible that you receive only 20% from the DRAC or 30%, or more often it's around 40% the maximum. 50% is really rare with my experience, what I heard. It's more around between 30 and 40% for listed castles. For ISMH, which is a level under regional classification, it's more about 20% that you can receive from the DRAC. After, she spoke about 30% from the region. This also, it's really rare to receive 30% from a region. Some regions don't give anything because this is different. DRAC and region. This is two separate entities in France. So the region, sometimes in some region, decided that it's important for their region to restore and maintain monuments. So they allocate some budget for this, maybe for a program on 3 years, maybe for 5 years. And you have the chance, the privilege to be, during this period, making a big project. So in that case, you can apply and you can maybe be selected for your project and receive some money. In some cases, it was not the case in this one, you can also receive money from the département, which is even the smaller area. You have the France, region and département that can eventually, in some cases, especially if you are open to the public for visit, tours, etc., you can sometimes receive a plus 10%, plus 15% on some works that are visible from the outside and from the road, for example. So in this case, for example, if the roof was visible from the road and it was open for the public, which is not the case, it's not especially open for the public, this one, it's open but really rarely, just like this, some guided tour, but nothing more than this. But it's possible in some departments, but less and less possible, let's be honest. And French Heritage Society, so it's an American association that helps and found some project in France related to historic monuments. So you can check online, French Heritage Society, and they work with Fondation Mérimée, also with other associations like VMF, Vieille Maison Française, and they propose each year a certain number of awards that they give on certain projects. It can be the garden, it can be the roof, it can be something else, furniture, etc. There are different types of awards that can change each year. So this is honestly a really specific case, but you can expect to receive at least 40 or 50% on your restoration work for the roof, for example, if your chateau is listed. One last thing before I leave you for today. La Demeure Historique, she spoke about it in the video. It's a famous association in France that is here for more than 100 years, which is helping a lot the owners of private historic monuments. Not only castles, but also churches, and because some churches are also owned by private owners, it happened, and also some mills or all type of historic buildings. They create a big network of owners, private owners, more than 3,000 in France, and they organize a lot of regional meetings, but also they have trainings and courses about fiscality, about taxes, restoration, etc. But it's mainly in French. So for an English speaker, it will be difficult for you to follow along, and it's a pity, so you should learn French because they have excellent workshops, excellent people, and you can build a very interesting network for your chateau for sure. That's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and learn one thing or two, and I see you in the next one. Bye-bye.